Liverpool rocked by shock twists on and off the pitch. Don't miss a second. Subscribe now for instant Reds updates, exclusives, and breaking alerts.
News headline. Arne Slot explains why Man City are ideal opponents for his evolving Liverpool. News and details. Arne Slot previews Sunday's visit from Manchester City, saying it is a good gauge of where his Liverpool side are up to in their progression. Arne Slot believes a visiting Manchester City will provide him the ideal barometer to gauge where his Liverpool team are at in their development this weekend. The Reds were soundly beaten at the Etihad earlier this season, losing 3-0 in a sequence of results that saw them lose 9 of 12 games between late September and November. The Reds have lost just 1 in their last 16 games since the end of November, but have drawn as many as 6 in that time, meaning they head into the weekend in 6th, behind Chelsea and Manchester United in the race for the Champions League places. Slot, who, alongside sporting director Richard Hughes, presided over a summer overhaul that saw around £450 million spent to recruit 8 new players as 10 left, thinks he is starting to see signs the new-look squad is finally finding its feet. However, the head coach thinks the arrival of City on Merseyside is the ideal team to judge how far his squad have come, saying, "In that game, at the Etihad, it was obvious where we struggled. I prefer to keep that from myself as I always protect my players. They had the ball much more than we wanted them to. We struggled to bring the ball out from the back. They didn't even create many chances, but it was 2-0 at halftime and they had a penalty miss from Erling Haaland. We pressed them. I am very curious to see that in that time I was not happy with how we, as a team, how little intensity we had in our pressing. For me, that is the biggest difference between this season and last season. Last season, our pressing was much better than it was at the start of this season, but I do see a good development. Our players are able to run more and press better. Combine that with defensive responsibility. That is why I'm interested to see against probably the best or one of the best teams in ball possession, can I see that progression in our work rate off the ball. Slot added, "We are in a position we are in with this group of players, and I think there's more to come from this group of players that we've got out of them until now, for obvious reasons. Some reasons I probably blame myself a little bit, but some things I cannot do anything about. Injuries, a player's not ready to play 3 games a week, but it's clear and obvious that if we have an injury crisis, even more than we already have, then that makes things even more difficult. I just said I have 16 players available, and Trey Nyani and Ryongu Moha are 2 of them. So, yeah, we know what the situation is. But this squad is able to do better and more than we've done till now, in my opinion. But then they all need to stay available, and that's going to be a hell of a challenge, because we have 3 games in 7 days coming up."
News headline. 11 players could miss Liverpool versus Man City showdown as Arne Slot receives injury boost. Liverpool and Manchester City will lock horns at Anfield this weekend, with both sides having several injury concerns to deal with within their squads. Liverpool's clash against Manchester City on Sunday could see 11 players missing in total through injury. The Reds continue their pursuit of a top 4 finish this weekend as they aim to disrupt City's Premier League title challenge. The Merseysiders have an excellent record against Pep Guardiola's team at Anfield and will be confident of claiming all 3 points. Arne Slot's side impressed in last weekend's 4-1 win over Newcastle United and are now just 2 points behind 4th-placed Manchester United. But both sides have several major injury concerns to deal with. Joe Gomez is not yet back in action following a groin injury, but he is in contention to return this weekend. Slot has confirmed his condition will not allow Gomez to start, but he could yet provide a helping hand. The Dutchman also noted that Jeremy Frimpong would be out for a few weeks after suffering a thigh injury. The prognosis was deemed better than expected, but the Dutch international remains out of action. Alexander Isak was in the stands to watch Liverpool's win over Newcastle, but is still some way short of a return following his broken leg. The forward remains out for several months as he recovers from surgery on an ankle injury. Teenage center-back Giovanni Leone is not expected back until next season after suffering a campaign-ending ACL injury on debut and undergoing surgery in September. Connor Bradley is not expected to play again for Liverpool this season after suffering a knee injury in the draw with Arsenal earlier this month and undergoing surgery. For City, Ruben Diaz has not played for the last month after suffering his injury in the draw against Chelsea. He traveled down to London with his teammates last week and was back in the squad on Wednesday. John Stones has been unavailable since early December, but his return is expected to be a slow burner. Savinho, meanwhile, picked up a thigh injury in the goalless draw with Sunderland last month, but could return to action later this month. Jeremy Doku was forced off with a calf injury in the first half of the Blues' Champions League tie with Galatasaray at the end of January. Elsewhere, Josko Gvardiol is recovering from a broken leg he sustained in the draw against Chelsea at the start of the year. Finally, Mateo Kovacic has been out with an ankle injury since November and is not expected to return to action anytime soon.
News headline: Joe Cole predicts huge Liverpool summer transfer, and it will solve Arne Slot problem. Former Liverpool winger Joe Cole says Mohamed Salah is entering the final months of his time as a Liverpool player. Former Liverpool winger Joe Cole says Mohamed Salah is entering the final few months of a decorated Anfield career, outlining his belief that the legendary Egyptian will leave at the end of the season. Salah has been the club's leading marksman every year since his move from Roma in 2017 and is currently third on the Reds' all-time scoring list behind Roger Hunt and Ian Rush with 251 goals across all competitions. However, his output has been dimmed this season, with the number 11 having registered just 6 times, meaning he is on course for the 2025-26 campaign to be his lowest scoring as a Liverpool player, with his previous worst being 25 goals, recorded 2 years ago. And Cole, who made 42 appearances for the Reds between 2010 and 2012, reckons Salah, who has a year left on his contract at the end of the season, will depart this coming summer. The first 30 minutes of the Newcastle United game, Liverpool were taken apart. It could have been 2-0, Cole told Paddy Power about the Reds' 4-1 win at Anfield last weekend. After that, they were sublime. I think the problem for Arne Slot is Mo Salah. Hugo Ekitike looks like he's the type of player that would benefit from having a starring role, but when Mo plays, the ball goes to him all the time because he's been so good. This will be the last 3 months at Liverpool for Mo Salah. I think he'll leave at the end of the season and walk out with being an all-time great at the club. Going forward, Arne Slot is going to have to find somewhere to adjust the system of how his team plays. Liverpool host Manchester City on Sunday, looking to make it 3 successive home wins across all competitions. And with Arsenal, who head into the weekend 6 points clear of second-placed City, hosting Sunderland on Saturday afternoon, Cole says a win for the Reds at Anfield will surely wrap up the title for the leaders. Cole added, "It would be the final nail in the coffin for City's title hopes. This is a huge game. This is one of the first massive title run-in games. The importance of winning this game is vital. If they don't win this game, I think I'd be telling everyone it's Arsenal's league now." News headline: Liverpool handed double Man City prediction with 3 players highlighted. I'd be shocked. News in details. Liverpool will face Manchester City in the Premier League this weekend and have been sent 2 predictions ahead of the game. Paul Merson and Chris Sutton have different opinions on how Liverpool's clash with Manchester City will pan out. The Reds will host City at Anfield in the Premier League on Sunday as they continue their quest for Champions League qualification. Arne Slot's side are in 6th place in the Premier League table and go into the game against City having beaten Newcastle United in their previous fixture and have scored 10 goals across their last 2 matches.
Liverpool find themselves 2 points behind fourth-placed Manchester United in the table, and that gap could be extended by the time kickoff arrives, with their rivals facing Tottenham Hotspur in the Saturday lunchtime kickoff. The Reds take on a City team that were held to a draw with Tottenham in their previous fixture, and were recently beaten by Man United in the Manchester Derby. As a result, Merson believes that Liverpool will claim a 3-1 victory at Anfield. I'd be shocked if Liverpool lost this football match. They have bounced back well after conceding that last-minute winner against Bournemouth. 10 goals in the 2 games since then shows they are clicking in attack, Merson told Sportskita. Manchester City always let in goals. You check their results, and if you've never watched them games, you would think they were flying. But the reality is that they have given away chance after chance in these games. Liverpool are not lackadaisical in front of goal. Manchester City, meanwhile, are all over the place at the back and could be blown away at Anfield. Liverpool attack is really clicking with Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, and Mohamed Salah. It's like Manchester City have Ryan Cherki, but Liverpool have 3 X-factors lined up next to each other as part of their front 3. Newcastle were really good in the first 30 minutes against Liverpool the other day. If City can play like Newcastle did there, it could be a different story. But if the game opens up and it becomes a you have a shot, we have a shot type of match, then Liverpool will run away with it. Manchester City have to win this game. Even a draw would mean the title race is over, because Arsenal would still have an 8-point lead. Like I said earlier, I expect the title race to be done this weekend, so Liverpool win. Sutton, however, disagrees with Merson's prediction and believes the points will be shared in a 2-2 draw between Liverpool and City. It will be interesting to see if Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola starts with Omar Marmoush up front ahead of Erling Haaland after his 2 goals against Newcastle in midweek, but their attack looks strong anyway, with Ryan Cherki and Antoine Semenyo in the team. The same applies to Liverpool, who have got a striker in form in Hugo Ekitike, while Florian Wirtz is playing with confidence too. City will have moments where they will create chances, but Liverpool are going to have opportunities at the other end as well. There will be a few goals in this game. News headline: Pep Guardiola sends strong Liverpool message and issues Man City injury update. Not just about that. Man City boss Pep Guardiola has been speaking ahead of the Premier League clash at Liverpool on Sunday afternoon. Pep Guardiola admits Liverpool remains the toughest destination for his Manchester City team as he prepares for their latest trip to Anfield. And the City boss is crossing his fingers over the availability of a number of key players ahead of the crunch clash. City make the short journey down the East Lancs Road on Sunday afternoon, aiming to keep in touch with runaway Premier League leaders Arsenal. However, a home victory would see Liverpool close the gap on the second-place team to 5 points and blow open the battle for Champions League qualification. City still haven't won at Anfield in front of supporters since a Nicolas Anelka brace earned them a 2-1 triumph way back in May 2003. And speaking on Friday afternoon, Guardiola said, "Anfield is the toughest opponent and a difficult place and stadium, especially with the quality of the players and the managers. It has been tough. They remain an exceptional team with a top-class manager, no doubt. Moments are moments and seasons are seasons. They always remain a good team. I've tried to see how they have played lately, what we have to do if we have to adjust something. But this is Anfield. Big stages and big games always need big personalities. I've said many times it's not about the skill of the players in the Premier League and the big leagues at the top clubs. The skills are there. I don't know one player at a big club who isn't good enough to play at a big club. It's about how you behave. It's how you are. Do it in the big stadiums and in the latter stages of big competitions. Of course, the mind controls the body, but it's not just about that. City will be without Josko Guardiola, Mateo Kovacic, Jeremy Doku, and Cervinho for the weekend, with Guardiola admitting there remain doubts over Bernardo Silva, who missed the midweek League Cup semi-final second leg win against Newcastle United. "I don't know yet," said the City boss, of Silva being fit. "Tomorrow we are training. Ruben Dias is back. We will see if he can play minutes, but it's good news for us." John Stones made training session with the team yesterday. Erling Haaland was rested to the bench on Wednesday for the victory against the Magpies, in which Antoine Semenyo and Omar Marmoush impressed up front. And asked if Haaland would come straight back into the starting lineup, Guardiola added, "Erling is the best striker in the world. Does he play? I don't know. We decide tomorrow. I've always said Erling is the best."